Now he's not bringing out.
Yeah.
Change things up.
If they only steal two, we're stepping in the right direction. I'm going to give me a all right, you can now pull your sliders.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, games will begin in 1 minute.
Hello, American curling fans from Canada and Newfoundland. This is your host, Ryan Olson, bringing you the latest curling action from the 2025 Arena Playdowns as part of the MoPac Championships presented by curling.gg. We have a contest between an Orange County curling team, a team Blacksher, taking on a Silicon Valley rink in Lazarowich. Rocks and play were underway, and we're happy to be here this morning as part of a quadruple header of games. So after Blacksher's lead put up a guard, they're going to go draw a round. Cell is in a bit deep, but not bad. It's buried. Mission accomplished. As we see the lead for Team Lazarowich get set. Teams had a warm-up before we started the broadcast. Had a draw to the button to see who was closest, and Lazarowich won that and had the benefit of the hammer to start the game. And that's the last rock advantage. So looked like Lazarowich is Lazarowich tried to draw a round. It was just a smidge heavy. That was the second for Blacksher. Now we have the Lazarowich second. I might be wrong on who has hammer. I can ask. Blacksher has hammer. I apologize. All right.
Center 2. You got this. What do you like?
So plays drawn into the rings pretty early as the next for Blacksher throws his rock. This is the men's playdowns. We also have the women's playdowns happening at the same time, although this is a draw that the women have off. Looks like some takeout weight, but just a bit heavy. So it looks like Lazarowich is holding a pretty good advantage early in this end. Looking to draw on the in-turn clockwise side, on the right side from this perspective, to try to put up a front stone or a guard. And Blacksher's just trying to hammer their way into the rings here, try to open something up to be able to score at this point. As Lazarowich does not have the hammer and is in a prime opportunity to steal. Sounds like they've got one stone. And it ran the yellow back into the red. Next rock coming for Lazarowich. That was to be their third. That ends up multitasking, so I apologize for that. So it looks like Lazarowich is sitting 1 and 3, 4, and there's a lonely Blacksher red, that second stone. You're looking to try to put up a front stone, or they were trying to maybe draw around. Whips off that red up top and then spins to the back 12 foot. A little wobble there on the delivery. Looks like he made a good recovery. Let's see if he's still on target. Just looking to control the front of the house with this front stone, maybe get to the top of the rings. And it gets to the top of the guard that was there. So looks like Blacksher's going to try and tap the red back. With the third for Blacksher. I want to confirm the lineup before I say who the players are. Blacksher has a fifth on the team who's not playing this draw, but just want to make sure I have the order correct. Thank you. So it looks like we're coming up to skip stones. Which is a situation. So skip stones for Lazarowich. He's been curling for 16 years and participated in 4 previous arena nationals. And I think just looking to close off the draw path on the right here. It crashes on the guard, but then it rolls wide, which I think really accomplishes the goal of closing off that draw path. So right now, Blacksher's second shot, but all the stones are pretty well buried. So I think they're looking at maybe trying to tap the top red in the guard zone back to the red in the rings. It doesn't seem too dangerous. And the reason is if it's too heavy, it's going to be too heavy. But if it's too narrow, it's probably going to just wreck on the guard. And if it's too wide, it'll just... Well, if it's too narrow, it's going to actually just be too narrow. But if it's too wide, it's going to crash on the guard. So it's the chances of it, like, putting the red and the rings in a weird position is not as high. This is over curling. It crashes on the red guard. So it opens up that side. So I think that Lazarovich's shot is just to close the door and just put up a guard or a front stone. So it does give Blacksher an option, and Lazarowich is going to do his best to take that option away. As Richard gets set. There's clocks in the background. These are timed games using what we call thinking time in the curling world. The clock starts when their turn begins, and it stops when the person delivering the stone crosses the delivery T line. And usually you should be playing ends at about like 3.5 minutes, give or take, to play 8 ends. And that is a pretty solid front stone. You can see it is very solidly blocking that tap back. So in terms of the draw situation, they have a pretty wide draw to maybe get a piece of the forefoot. If they bite the forefoot, they'll score 1. So you can see Blacksher's used just over 3 minutes for their first end, so they're on target for time. As the last rock from Adam Blacksher makes his way down the ice. Long draw on a wide path that might be a little frosty. This is hanging out. It's going to fall out. And it looks like it's falling out. So that's going to be a steal of 1 for Team Lazarowich. So a brief pause in the action. We'll be back for the second end of our feature game between Team Blacksher of OC Curling and Team Lazarowich from Silicon Valley. And ongoing coverage of the 2025 Arena Playdowns is brought to you by doubletakeout.com, the site for curling analytics and insights about the top men's and women's teams from around the world. doubletakeout.com. And by curling.gg. Test your stip steals against your friends online at curling.gg. Free online curling platform with real physics simulation. And by Endgame Curling. Unlock the next level with Endgame's leading edge curling brooms and accessories at endgamecurling.com. Second end action underway here at the 2025 doubletakeout.com MoPac Championships presented by curling.gg. We're going to go around the rings in just a moment as we see the lead rocks for Stephen Bruce and Team Lazarowich. Just goes a little deep with the outturn counterclockwise rotation, and it's a bit heavy through the rings out of play. And so Lazarowich is going to, Blacksher is going to ask lead Marty Blomgren to put up a guard, which is something that you try to do if you want to try and generate some offense. As teams get more experienced and are able to do takeouts, they go after stones that are in the rings. And so the guard zone is geared to try to put guards in place and places to hide stones behind, so that when if it does shift to a hitting game, there's a chance to still score. It's still tricky though, and Marty put up a good guard there. And we're also playing with the no-tick centerline rule, which has been in effect for about 2 or 3 competitive years now. Steven is going to try to draw around, I believe. It's in the rings, it is not buried, and so now this is where the hitting might start. As Blacksher has the stone down for a hit and roll, perhaps from Marty. Hal's being asked to hold the line. Hal Brown, the second for Team Blacksher. This is pretty close. Looks like it makes contact on the yellow in the rings, and it's enough to get the stone through the rings out of play. And then the shooter rolls underneath entirely the guard and pokes out the other side. So not a bad outcome for Blomgren, but the second for Lazarowich, Colin Neff, has a chance to take him on. Ice has been pretty speedy. I think we were gaining about like 14:10, 14:20 T-line weight as you measure the hog-to-hog time. So this stayed outside, but it was enough to get the red moving, and the shooter rolls away out of play. So the guard zone rule ends after the 5th stone. So now the opposing team can hit out the other team's guards if they wanted to. And of course, you can hit your own guard out if you wanted to, but it's a rare moment where you want to do that. As Hal Brown throws the first of his end. And coverage of this end is being brought to you by doubletakeout.com. Proprietor Ken Pomeroy updates the site throughout the competitive curling season with the latest results from competitive bonspiels, and people visiting the site can check out to see how their top team, their favorite team from the men's and women's fields from around the world, see how they rank against others, including in various key categories, including hammer efficiency, steel efficiency, and more. doubletakeout.com. So Hal was able to draw partially around the guard. As we see these Collins second stone, again looking for a little takeout action. And this is also his hanging out on the other side. But it flips the red, and it's enough to just kiss it and bump it over, boop it over to the edge of the 8-foot. And so now Blacksher has an opportunity. They could split the rings if they wanted to, but they're opting to try and draw around the guard again, which is totally valid. It does kind of shift play towards that right side of the rings. And sweepers are just really pounding that ice to make sure it gets as far as it can. It looks like it's on the guard, but it might be able to promote the guard up into the rings. And it looks like it did, just barely, but it just stays kind of towards the center, so it's not enough to push it over to where the shot stone is. So a good audible to try to make something out of a relatively light shot. But the sweepers knew it was light out of hand, and they were really just doing their best to make sure it got to where it needed to. As we have Alex Clayton with his first, looking to take on that at least one of the stones in the rings. And it's looking pretty good. So it does hit the red that was just promoted into the rings. The yellow sits around as a guard. It's actually partially covering the red in the rings. So Blacksher still has an opportunity to split the rings or draw around the guard. And the reason I think you would try to draw around the guard is because it's the center, it's towards the center of the house, which is the prime scoring area. So if Blacksher doesn't get there first, there's a chance that Lazarowich will get there first. As we see the third stones from Neil Hunter Smith of Team Blacksher. So this line's looking pretty good, but they're sweeping pretty hard, and I think it might tap the guard. So the weight's just kind of, I think, just tricking Blacksher early in this game. It's the second end of a possible 8 ends of regulation. He does put up a guard, but I think they'd rather have a rock in the rings. As Alex gets set to looks like they're going to try to take on the red in the rings with Alex's next rock here. At the end of break, we're going to go around the rings, let you guys know the games in action this draw, and give you a score update. Which one is more of a draw, and it froze on top of the yellow. It looks to me that Blacksher is still shot, but it's a very near thing. So Blacksher's going to try and draw the center again. Actually, not draw. It looks like he's going to try and tap back, which is a good call. You have very tight guards that are easily promotable into the rings, and the scoring area is pretty wide open. So this makes a lot of sense for Blacksher, although there's a little bit of wobble for Neil Hunter-Smith on his delivery. Looks like he recovered, but let's see where the weight is. They're working to hold the line. It's over curling. They're going to kiss the top red. Oh, beautiful. But not necessarily the outcome that we were hoping for. I said it was beautiful because they got two reds in the rings, but none of them are counting currently. They are both outside the yellow, as far as I can tell. So right now it's Blacksher 1, 3, 4 in terms of the scoring order, and then Lazarowich has that yellow that's frozen on top of the shot red. So just a interesting outcome. It could have gone better for them, but it could have gone worse too. So just a bit unlucky there, and where the stones split off to. So Clayton has the broom down. Looking to, I think, maybe tap out the. Oh, this is. I think they're looking to maybe double with Richard Lazarowich's first. He's got some weight. Let's see if he's got the line. So he's going to get one red. Has he got two reds? He got the yellow. And then he made contact with the shot red. And Alex is going to escort it to the back of the rings. The shooter itself rolled across the top of the house, buried under the red guard. So a pretty decent outcome from Lazarowich. Just watch the replay. And then he made contact with the shot red. And Alex is going to escort it to the back of the rings. The shooter itself rolled across the top of the house, buried. Started the replay just a titch too late, but hopefully you saw what happened. So that was a decent shot, especially since the outcome is that Lazarowich is now counting. So it looks like Adam Blacksher is being asked to tap their stone back onto the yellow, probably with a backline weight. There's a jam possibility too that they got to watch out for. Oh, he's throwing more than hat. He's throwing probably control, and it crashes on the guard. It clears it and opens things up. So just I see what they were trying to do there. It just wasn't on target. I'm laughing because I'm trying to keep scores in terms of the shots, and so I like this system. You mark a raise takeout as a D, an outturn is a letter O, and a score is 0, unfortunately for Adam. But that spells do, which is also the outcome of the shot, unfortunately. So Lazarowich is sitting 1, I think, looking to secure their advantage without the hammer, trying to steal here in this second end. This is, I think, looking to split the rings as Richard is throwing his last here without the hammer in the second end. Weight looks pretty good. Sweepers are now on it, trying to push it over. The weight seems to be a little higher than they may have wanted as Hunter Smith jumps on it to push it to the back, through the rings, out of play. That was just a little short of being beautiful there from Richard. So now there's an open hit for Adam Blacksher as he is getting set. If he hits and sticks and clears the yellow shot stone without crashing, there's a shot for 4 here by Adam Blacksher. His last rock to hammer here in the second end. Looks like he's doing the out turn again. He's got it, and the shooter's going to stick around for that 4th point. So that's pretty decent. Let's check out the replay. Looks like he's doing the out turn again. He's got it, and the shooter's going to stick around for that 4th point. So that was a good response by Blacksher after giving up a single in the first end. So pause the action. We'll be right back to the 2025 MoPac Championships presented by curling.gg. So there's 3 games on the ice this draw. Starting on sheet B, we have a contest between Team Stephanie of Wine Country Curling taking on Team Pomeroy of Oval Curling of Utah. Stephanie stole a single in the first 2 ends. It's currently up 2-0. Sheet C, you're watching it right now. It's Team Blacksher and Team Lazarowich. Just saw an awesome shot from Adam. I don't know why there's a frog in my throat right now. As you see Marty throw his first stone of this 3rd end. And on sheet D, we have another men's game between Team Malloret of Oval Curling taking on Team Skidmore of Wine Country. And Skidmore stole 2 in the first to take a 2-0 lead over Team Malloret. Scores are being posted to bondspieler.com as Bonbrin's rod goes into the rings. I'm not sure if they wanted a guard or not. As Stephen Bruce gets set for his first. There's a lot more moving pieces behind the scenes than you might think. Because I have a score sheet, I have a schedule, I have team bios, I have reference material. It's so much stuff. Is that rock from Bruce slips into the rings? This is Blomkin's second. And coverage of this end is being brought to you by curling.gg. Next time you're confused on ice, take a photo, recreate it on curling.gg, and try multiple outcomes. It's the only platform that lets you take a shot, undo, and try again. Curling.gg. So Blomgren is able to put up a guard with his second. Full points for that. And it looks like Lazarowich is asking Steven to put up a front stone of their own. So there's sometimes a little bit of a stutter in the video feed because the video transmission is a line of sides, and for some reason the players are liking to hang out in front of where the hub is for this game. It's the first game that I've seen it happen, so I apologize for that. Try to find the best place to put the video receiver, and it doesn't always work. But what did work was Steven's shot. For the most part, it partially covers the rock in the rings. As Hal Brown's first stone is away. Looking to draw around. It looks like it's going to maybe tick the guard. Push it over, so the guard did its job. And then the shooter is going to roll wide left. It did improve the situation. So it looks like Lazarowich is going to try and put up another front stone. Maybe draw it on top of the yellow. Although at some point Lazarowich is going to need to address the shot stone in the back, like in the top forefoot. So Collins' first rock, sweepers are on it. And it looks like it got to maybe the top of the rings. It did. It sets up a possible double for Hal to take on. Delivery is just a little wobbly, but it looks like he stayed on course. He's going to get one, and that's all, as the yellow got jammed on top of the other yellow. One of them went sayonara, and the other one said, "I'm sticking around." So now Lazarowich is going to try and clear the front and hopefully, force the way open for their stones to maybe score at the end of the end. And Collins got some weight of his own. It crashes on the guard and it pushes the guard to the side, so it opens things up. And so now that red shot stone is a bit exposed. So Blacksher is thinking about whether to hit the yellow and roll. That would make sense. I think he was looking at maybe also like putting a front stone in front of the shot stone, but like the phrase "the best defense is a good offense," it totally applies in curling, where when teams are being defensive, they're actually hitting the stones out of play to minimize the possible scoring opportunities. Neal with his lefty delivery. So here they're going to try and hit the yellow out and stick around and sit two. This is hanging out though. It might flash, and this could be a bit of a disaster. Not bad though. It does hit it, but the shooter rolls away. So I can't, not necessarily full points for that because they wanted to stick around. So it looks like Lazarowich is not going to try and take on the shot stone right now, asking Alex to clear the remaining front center guard. It's hanging out a little wide, but it's enough to make contact. Oh, it's the shooter then jams on a red guard and promotes into the rings. And so now there's 2 reds in this nest for Team Blacksher. So just a bit unlucky there from Claxton. So we have 9 teams in the field for this event. We have 2 pools. One pool has 5 teams. The other pool has 4. At the end of pool play, the top 2 teams will advance to the championship Sunday for semifinals, and then the finals at about 12:30 Pacific time. And what's at stake is a MoPac Championship and a berth at the Arena National set for this fall at Curl Vegas in Las Vegas. So Hunter Smith put up a guard, and it looked pretty. He covers it partially. So Class is going to try and hit the red on the right side from this view. So it just both of the reds moving. So that was a double takeout brought to you by doubletakeout.com. Let's check the replay. So it just both of the reds moving. So that was. And so that double takeout was brought to you by doubletakeout.com. A great shot there from Alex Claxton. So it's a pretty open house, and so Hunter Smith has the broom down for Adam Blacksher to just bop out the yellow, hopefully stick around. So we have 2 MoPac teams from this event going to nationals, but they won't be the only MoPac teams. I'll explain just a sec. As Blacksher does tap the. Oh, did the rock get burned? Okay, he just stopped it. I'm curious about why he just didn't let it go. That's, I mean, it's kind of curling etiquette to make sure the stones don't go too far astray, but sometimes it could. Sometimes that red rock is in. Oh, in the rings though. Yeah, that's a good point. So just in terms of like stopping the stone, like if the rock is clearly going out of play, then both teams usually agree that it's out of play. However, if you touch a stone that's in motion and there's no agreement, you can make an argument that's burning the rock, which is a foul in this sport. But Blacksher's hit was made, as we see Lazarowich just looking to draw around the center guard with his first. Sweepers jumped on it pretty quickly. Looking to hold the line, but then by sweeping it, you're going to carry the stone maybe a little further than it would normally go naturally. So now they're trying to push it over, and it looks like it's going to get about 20% buried. And so it seems likely that Blacksher is just going to try and hit it and hopefully stick around, but if it rolls away, that's not too bad. There's a chance for Lazarowich to blank the end and carry the hammer to the next end. Pretty decent draw there from Adam Blacksher. Brooms down for a takeout. And so this is also an arena curling event, so none of the players here play on dedicated ice as part of as a club member or in a league. Oh, this is hanging out wide. Ooh. I say ooh because it basically opens the door for Richard Lazarowich to score 2. So teams don't necessarily get a lot of time on dedicated ice, so it's really an opportunity to come to Coyotes to play on dedicated ice. And dedicated ice means it's expressly made for curling. As Lazarowich has the door open for a draw for 2. We're going to time this hog to hog to see what time we get. Sweepers are on it. It looks a little light, especially as they're trying to coach it as far as they can. I got 15:25, which looks like it's going to be just enough, as they needed to touch paint. They swept that pretty close to post. And that's good for 2. And it draws Team Lazarowich within 1. So a good outcome for Team Lazarowich. Blacksher is going to see how they respond when we come back to the 2025 DoubleTakeout.com MoPac Championships, coming to you live from Coyotes Curling Club in Tempe, Arizona. The Temp, as no one calls it. So I think I started mentioning that we have more than one team per men and women going to Arena Nationals, and that's because the men's and women's national champions are from MoPac, and they have an automatic berth to defend their title. So in addition to whoever wins this weekend's events, we're going to see Team Aces from Silicon Valley represent the women, and then we're going to see Team Spangler. I want to make sure I got it right. We have Team Spangler representing the men, and it'll be fun to see at least four MoPac teams in the field. As Stephen Bruce's first shot goes into the top of the rings. As Marty gets set for his first. Coverage of this end is being brought to you by Endgame Curling, elevating the standard for high-performance brooms. Manufacturers of the Endgame Icon and Endgame Origin brooms with eco-friendly fabric replacement, innovative locking and sliding position, a large radius sliding bar, and more. EndgameCurling.com. So Marty's shot goes to the tee line, and it's an opportunity for Stephen Bruce to bop it out. So Stephen Bruce has been curling for 4 years. This is hanging out wide, and Lazarowich is just going to let it go. And so now Blomgren arguably made a bit of a slight error by going into the house, which enabled Lazarowich to have a chance to take it on. But with that miss, now Blomgren has a second chance to put up a guard and protect a rock in the rings. So Marty has been curling for 6 years. Just going over his bio, he's been to the 5 and Under Nationals a couple times, including reaching the playoffs in 2023. He's also been at Senior Nationals and on the team that won the MoPac Senior Championship in 2025. And that guard doesn't guard on too much, but it can be used later in the end. And so before we leave Marty, just want to let just say that he was also the award winner for Orange County Curling, the Please Leave and Play Pickleball Award. And I don't know if it's because he might just be playing a lot, or I hope that's it. The other possibility is that he's so bad he might as well take up another sport. Colin Neff, this shot looks pretty good to hit and roll. Hits the red to the back 12 foot, and the shooter's going to join the red in the back rings on the left side. So pretty decent outcome. As they're talking over their options across the ice, we have a Hal Brown looking to hit the top yellow in the rings. Looking pretty good. Going to hit. The shooter's going to roll across the rings out of play. And the yellow, unfortunately, went through the rings and jammed on the back red. So it's still sitting 2 yellow. But it opens up the front. As Colin is throwing his second stone. I think just looking for a draw to get around the guard and sits shot in the top of the rings. Richards basically calling the sweepers off. It's looking pretty good to settle in the top of the rings. It's not going to get too buried though. So basically, essentially replace the yellow that was there. But now Lazarowich is sitting 3. Pretty good shot there from Neff, who has been curling for 3 years. Hal Brown going to do the takeout again. And Hal's been curling for 4 years. Was on Team Burnt at San Francisco Bay Area playing leads 2 years ago. I think that would be the Playdowns. That shot was much more on target as it does clear the shot stone and then rolls to be shot on the left wing. So a very good outcome for Hal Brown, who while being at that was the first MoPac Arena Playdown in 2023. He played lead. He doesn't recall what happened, but they went to the playoffs and lost. Which is pretty much what happened. Alex Clayton's turn now to draw. Doing the counterclockwise rotation. Looking pretty good. Oh. It would be pretty good if they were trying to take out their own stone. I don't think that was the outcome they wanted. It did get that yellow stone like one rock closer to the center of the ring, so not a bad outcome. And I think they wanted to have some backing, but Blacksher has a hammer this end, so the whole 8-foot ring is now of kind of the scoring area. As Neil Hunter Smith delivers, Neil's been curling for 18 months. I say that just because like usually people do years, and then when you do months, it's like, man, this is how we like measure like babies' ages. And I'm not saying his curling career is a baby, but it kind of is. And in his less than 2 years, he's been to Arena Playdowns last year as part of Team Barents. Didn't qualify. It was also at Club Playdowns for Team McBride this year. Reached the semifinals. Was a part of the Silicon Valley Base Field, team champion on Team Nye, and was the B event runner-up in the 2024 Hollywood location that was at Coyotes. And so that draw from Neil was very successful. It's hitting shots on the center line. Just a sliver of it was covered by the guard. As Alex Claxton is throwing his next. And this is looking to be, I think, a tap back or a soft takeout, soft weight. And it does tap the red to the back forefoot. So red is still shot. But now, with Claxton's shots, Lazarowich is second. So it looks like we're going to see some tap action as they're looking to consider their shots. I think they're maybe worried about possibly jamming, but they put the broom, they want to hit it like on the nose or just to the left from this position. As Hunter Smith gets set. Looking for a hit from Neil Hunter Smith. Looking pretty good. They want to hit it on the nose or just to the left. Oh, and it just feathers that shot stone. Got just a little bit lucky there, and it paid off. So now Blacksher sitting 3. I believe 3. Yes, indeed. So I think Lazarowich can't hit his way out of this jam. So he can either do like damage control and try just to hit out some of the reds to minimize the scoring damage. Or he could draw on top of the shot stone on the right, and that does seem to be what he is set up to do. These draws to the button area are, or they should be, players' bread and butter. They should have this in their back pocket, and that does seem to be an okay damage control, especially with his first. That might force Blacksher to make a tricky shot as Richard Lazarowich gets set. Looking to, I think, draw on top of the red on the right. Supers are trying to push it over. I got 15-2 roughly. Which, with them sweeping, I think it might be enough to get it to the top forefoot. Looks like it got to the top 12 foot. So that actually ends up helping Blacksher a little bit because it protects the shot stone on the left side. So The rock is in a bedeviling position, though. And the reason why is they could try to hit it out, but the risk of jamming is pretty high, especially given that there's 2 places to jam, really. And that last shot from Neil Hunter Smith just barely missed the shot stone. So the takedown is going to be dangerous, but that would be the high reward choice. High reward choice. Because then it would replace the yellow with one of their own, and it would make it difficult for Lazarowich to try to draw again. But the risk, as I mentioned, is pretty high. So I think they're looking at maybe split the difference and put a front stone in front of the yellow to prevent Lazarowich from being able to tap that yellow back and really reduce the scoring opportunity for Blacksher. So Adam was asking for less eyes as he gets set for a front stone. So we should be seeing about the same time, like 15.5 seconds. Probably 15 to like the same time probably should be good. Adam's been trailing for 7 years. He was a Rising Stars winner as a 5 and under qualifier in 2022. Oh, and this is light and wide. I got 1560. So that was just short of being perfect there. And I say that because the weight was on the money. I said like 15, I kind of went back and forth, like 15.2, 15.50, and they had a 15.60, and they were able to get it kind of right where they wanted in terms of weight. It was just wide. And so Lazarowich could try the tap back, but they're setting up the draw on the right side. So Richard and Alex are talking about the shots. They're going a little wider than they have been this end. And as we are to skip stones, we're going to take a 5-minute break after the 4th end, which is this end. And then we'll be back with the 2nd end of the game and after that interval. So Richard's looking to draw on top of the yellow on the right side. It's a new path. And let's see what he has. His first rock was a little light. He's going to need a little bit more, especially with the fresher path. The ice speeds up as the water drop, is called pebble, breaks down. And then as the pebble breaks down further, the ice slows again. This is maybe a little on the light side. Well, maybe I got 1353. So it might be a little heavy, actually. And Neil Hunter Smith's going to try and get it as far back as possible and is able to get it to the 12-foot. And so now the opportunity is primo for Adam Blacksher. You're sitting 3 in hand, trying to get that 4th in the bush. And then looking at the risk-reward factor. The risk-reward factor is they just draw and there's not much risk because all they have to do is grab a piece of the 8-foot for that 4th point. So it's just unfortunate there from Richard Lazarowich. Adam Blacksher's in the hack. Sitting on 3, hoping for 4. This is the hammer here in the 4th end. So the weight, they're trying to curl it over, but I don't think they need it to curl over. They just need, they're trying to get the yellow in the back for backing. And it's just, it doesn't get over enough. It rolls too wide. And it's just going to be the 3 for Team Blacksher. That's enough to take a 7-3 lead over Team Lazarowich. And that's where we're going to leave things as we go to the halftime break. The halftime show this game features a drone show. It's only going to be in the warm room though. There's no cameras in the warm room, so you're going to miss it. But it's going to be a drone show. It's going to be great. It's going to be really loud, but really awesome. It's a spectacle. You have to be here to see, literally, because it's not going to be on the video. Drone show's coming up next. As we go to our halftime break, we'll be right back in just a moment as our coverage continues at the 2025 MoPac Championships presented by curling.gg. And ongoing coverage of this event is being brought to you by doubletakeout.com, offering updated statistics and analytical information about the top men's and women's teams from around the world. Viewers can check out to see how their team ranks against the rest of the best, at doubletakeout.com. And by curling.gg. For stiffs and curlers who love a good game, curling.gg is your ultimate practice tool. Free, easy, and all about strategy. Visit curling.gg to test your skills right now. And this game is being brought to you by Endgame Curling, manufacturers of the travel handle, designed to break into 3 pieces for easy storage and carry-on luggage, featuring a carbon fiber design engineered so you can bring your curling broom on the road with ease. Endgamecurling.com. We'll be back in just a moment, and we'll go around the rings when we come back to the 2025 doubletakeout.com MoPac Championships, coming to you live from Tempe, Arizona.
It's a little soft. It's a little soft.
Okay, I'm going to drink a lot. All right? Yeah. Okay. No worries. No. Alex, other color? Other color? You are right.
We don't need to bring that. Yeah.
Alex, one more.
Welcome back to the 2025 MoPac Championships presented by curling.gg. This is your host Ryan Olson, welcoming you to the second half of our feature game between Team Blacksher from OC Curling taking on Team Lazarowich of Silicon Valley. It's been a pretty interesting game. There's been some high scoring ends leading to some interesting swings. But right now it's Team Blacksher that's holding a 7-3 advantage. Want to let you know this is the first of 4 games on tap today as part of our pool play. At the end of the day, we're going to know who is going to be going to Championship Sunday in the playoffs. Our next games include a 12:30 draw featuring Team Gilbert of Oval Curling taking on Team Padilla of Wine Country. That's our feature game starting at 12:30 Pacific Mountain Standard Time. And then subsequent games are going to be at 4:30 p.m. and 8 p.m. as we have some MoPac After Dark and we conclude pool play. All the action is going to be posted to our MoPac YouTube channel with updates on the MoPac Facebook channel and or Facebook page. We're definitely glad that you guys are here. Have a MoPac morning. We have MoPac After Dark and we have MoPac morning. And then as Marty Blomgren gets set for the opening rock of this 5th end of a possible 8 ends of regulation, I'm going to guess that he's going to maybe draw into the top of the rings, try to force Lazarowich into a hitting game, but that's just my opening prediction. I'm not saying you could put money on it, and you probably shouldn't. During the 5 and under tournament, I said you could I'll bet like $10,000 that this rock is going to go in the rings, and it turned out to be a guard. And the same thing happened here. But I didn't say put money on it. So that might be the saving grace, as it looks like Stephen Bruce is being asked to put up a corner guard on the left side. Let me show you what I'm seeing. That rock kind of started digging in by the hog line, and it's enough to put up a corner guard. So good shot there from Stephen. Time to go around the rings, as all the teams had their fourth end break, and so I can let you guys know exactly what the situation is. Where it looks like I think Marty's going to try and draw around that center guard he put up. On sheet B, a men's game between Team Stephanie of one country and Team Pomeroy of the oval. Stephanie opened up strong, stealing the first 2 ends, but since then it's been all Pomeroy. We have some offset guards, so this is a good outcome for Marty Blomgren. So Pomeroy was forced to a single in the third, but then stole 3 in the fourth to take a 4-2 lead over Team Stephanie. Sheet C is the feature game. You're watching it. Team Blacksher's up 7-3 over Team Lazarowich. And then on sheet D, we have a contest between Team Malloret of the oval and taking on Team Skidmore of one country. Skidmore was kind of holding the advantage the first half of the game, stealing 2 in the first, and then another single in the third. But Malloret finally converted the hammer with 2 in the fourth, and is currently 3-2 Skidmore over Malloret. And that game's a pool 1 game, and that's interesting because all the teams are at 1-1. So it's really a key day. You have to win your games to really have a chance to jump into the playoffs. Steven's draw was a little light, turned into a guard, so it can be used later in the end. Hal Brownstone, I think, looking to... I don't think they're trying to draw. I think they're trying to tap back. So it did crash on the guards. Open things up. All right, so crashed on the guards, but they're really controlling the front of the ice here. As Colin Neff is drawing around the right wing. This is intern clockwise rotation. And the fifth for Team Blacksher handed me a note. I'll go into that in just a second. As that was a good draw there from Colin Neff, just a shot in the back forefoot. It's a bit exposed. Although from this is not a head-on view, unfortunately. The cameras will be different in the next game because I had to move them to another sheet. But it looks like they're going to try and take on a heavy draw, tap it back. As Hal gets set for his next rock. So Justin McBride from Team Blacksher handed me a note just to remind viewers that OC Curling is trying to get dedicated ice of their own. And more information is available at ocdedicatedice.com. That's ocdedicatedice.com. And I've definitely seen some of their fundraising efforts, and they're definitely going all out. And Justin said that this might be the last year, fingers crossed, that OC would be going to an arena event. The goal, the dream for a lot of clubs is to not be eligible for future arena playdowns because they're on dedicated ice and would not be eligible to play. So one last time, ocdedicatedice.com. So that draw from Hal Brown was just a little light. Crashes into the guards. It actually, I think it tapped one of the yellows into the rings. So now Lazarowich is sitting 2. And Colin Neff is being asked to kind of repeat his feat and draw again. I think to the top 12 perhaps. Just kind of lock it down on that side. Now with Blacksher controlling the front of the house, there's going to be opportunities to raise up some of the reds into the rings, which I think is going to be the shot they're going to take as Neff Stone does crash into the guards. It does accomplish, I think, what Lazarowich is looking for, as it just kind of blocks off that path. Oh, and speaking of what MoPac clubs are doing, I just also wanted to note that if you visit the Coyotes website, Coyotes Curling Club, they just announced registration is open for their Hotter Than Hell Bonspiel, set for July 11th through the 13th. This is an open Bonspiel, so you don't have to be dedicated or arena ice. You can sign up as a team or sign up as an individual and go. Information's at coyotescurling.com/Bonspiels. And I'm saying hot, it's hotter than hell, but it's 92 degrees right now, so it's just not quite hotter than hell right now. It's maybe lukewarmer than heck. So we got Neil Hunter Smith, I think, looking to move the pile. Ooh, beautiful there. Let's check out the replay with that, because he was able to run a red back onto the yellow shot and then have that lukewarmer than heck. So we got Neil Hunter Smith, I think, looking to move the pile. Ooh, beautiful there. Let's check out the replay with that, because he was able to. So that really changes the end around. That was kind of an end saver for Blacksher, and well done by Neil Hunter Smith. So yeah, Coyotes, just one more time, the Hotter Than Hell Bonspiel, their season finale for Bonspiels, as I understand, is July 11th through the 13th, just a month away. More information at coyotescurling.com/Bonspiels. And this shot coming from Alex Claxton. He's going to hit the yellow, and it's going to just kind of run the yellow through the rings out of play. It does kind of close off the draw path on that left side. I think Lazarowich really wanted to open up the front, though. So with these rocks, I think they want to just kind of put a stone in front of the guards and prevent Lazarowich from trying to clear the front. Let's see what Neil Hunter Smith's encore is. And this is looking like the guard. Just like that Nelly Furtado song, She's Like a Guard. She's gonna fly away. I don't know. But that guard is a good guard, y'all. So now Lazarowich is into a clearing action just to have a shot for something. So an end that was looking really good for Richard Lazarowich has turned into a bit of a nightmare. And let's see if he has an answer. Oh no! Oh, he might make contact on the red, and he does. Wow! He shot the port there. Let's see the replay. Richard Lazarowich has turned into a bit of a nightmare. And let's see if he has an answer. Oh no! Oh, he might make contact on the red, and he does. Well, let's call that a wake-up call. So it wasn't what it was called, but it definitely was a positive outcome. And a good shot to boot. So with Blacksher holding on to a 7-3 lead, the strategy I think is going to be trying to force Lazarowich to a single if they can't steal. And so I think they're looking to draw around the guards on the left here. And so I think we're going to be looking at about like a 14-7 in terms of time. But also it's over curling. I think it's on the guard right now. Not a bad outcome. 1385. That looks slower than I thought it was going to be. But now the path is open for Lazarowich to put in a third stone. They're sitting 2 right now. So that draw was not successful, but it does open things up for both teams. And I think Lazarowich is going to try and get to the punch first and put up a stone at the top 12 foot if he can. He wants all those stones in the house to count. So he wants to put a stone touching the paint but doesn't want to go too deep. So looking for a draw, and this is probably going to be 15. It's interesting that like a lot of sounds don't get on the mic, but the stopwatch does for some reason. This is light. This is going to be a guard, which could be a good plan B. I got close to about 1550 or even 16 seconds. That's probably the right way to miss. There's also a bluff's draw path. So Blacksher's looking at an in-off, which might be a good call, that given that their last draw did not succeed. However, the risk there is if they do the in-off, they might push that red out of the way and give Lazarowich a really good draw 4-3. So I think the shot here is just based on where Neil has the broom, is to ask Adam to draw on top of the yellow in the back 8 foot with this last rock without the hammer here in the 5th end. And I think Neil was indicating that's a bit wide, and it is wide, unfortunately. So they may be looking at a plan B, maybe get a piece of the red. Nope. It's going to miss everything and go through the back of the house, out of play. I got like an 1172 on that stone. And so now Lazarowich has a draw for 3, and that would bring them within a single point of Team Blacksher. So this is a high-scoring game. There's only been one single point end in this entire game, and that was the first end. So Richard makes his way to the hack. looking to draw for 3. So he's sitting on 2, got a draw for 3. And I think Richard's going to need to give a little bit more weight because his draws have been a little light, and it's really easy for skips to pull back when they have a chance for multiple points. I don't know if that's the case for Richard, but I see it a lot. And his last rock is away, the hammer. A chance for 3 to draw within 1 of Team Blacksher. This is looking pretty decent. They're trying to hold the line. I got 13.35, so once it's past that guard, they're going to let it go. It's going to settle into the back 8 foot, and that's good for 3 for Team Lazarowich. So that was a good response for Richard in his rink. It's now a 1-point game, but Team Blacksher has the hammer when we come back to the 2025 doubletakeout.com MoPac Championships.
Right, we're yellow? Okay, just wanted to make sure.
As we get underway with this 6th end of a possible 8 ends of regulation, just wanted to remind everyone that this broadcast is presented by authority of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association. However, we might be more inclined to grant permission if you reenacted this game using finger puppets. Or like a Punch and Judy show from England. Yeah, Stephen Bruce opening with a guard. He's going to get close to the center line, but not quite. That's a pretty solid guard. And it looks like Blacksher's going to try and draw around, it appears. Maybe put up a guard of their own. With Marty Blomgren's first. So Marty, I didn't quite catch the first end, but he's thrown almost entirely draws and guards, which makes sense. Almost all out turns, the counterclockwise rotation. And he's been pretty solid. I think he's been about 75%. Have a couple of 50% shots and a couple of 75 to 100% shots. So, and that does settle in as a cornerish guard. For Stephen Bruce, he has also thrown all but one draw guard. Shot selection does also favor the out-turn counterclockwise rotation, as he does do the out-turn draw around to settle in under cover in the full 8 foot. That was a great draw there from Stephen. And Stephen's been, I would say, a bit higher percentage of shots. I would say this is like 75 to 80%. And I'm estimating the percentages. I could add up the numbers and do a shot percentage, but that takes time and mental effort. But I'm keeping track, as scorers normally do, where they mark the shots, the rotation, and the outcome with a number 0 if they don't make the shot at all, 4 if the shot is perfectly made. And Blomgren's shot's looking pretty good. It does crash on the yellow and rolls wide, but it does tap the yellow back to the forefoot. Still pretty well buried. And the scoring's done based on the execution of the shot. So if the person throwing the rock does the shot that is called for, even though it wasn't a great strategy call, we're not supposed to penalize the person throwing the stone. As Colin throws his first, looking to draw around, it appears. They did say it looks a little heavy, and that is going to settle in towards the button. It's going to actually chip the yellow, the shot stone. Oh, this is a bit dangerous. So basically, Blacksher could try to take on a double here, at least get rid of one of the yellows. Although he's looking at clearing the front, which is also a good call. So the broom is down for Hal Brown. Looking to clear. And this is hanging out a little wide. But it's enough to clear the yellow guard and open up the shot stone. So that was a good outcome there. So for Colin Neff, I didn't get the first end, but subsequently he's thrown about half takeouts and half draws guards as the shot is quickly underway. And he's been making most of his shots. I would definitely say he's in the 80s, maybe into the 90s for his shots. And this is a draw to put up the guard or front stone. And it looks like it is pretty decent. Actually, from this overhead, over the shoulder view, it does look like it's not covering the shots in the rings too much. So Hal Brown's going to take it on. Hal Brown's he's thrown slightly more draws than takeouts. Although with his shot, it's going to be 50-50 between the two. And this is looking pretty good. They're trying to coach it over. Is the double there? He's going to get one, and the second one also goes away. That is a double takeout. Brought to you by doubletakeout.com. So, I tried to show the replay, but I don't think it got there. But that was a great shot for Hal. Hal's thrown pretty well. I definitely think he's in the 80s. He's had one outright miss in the last end. As we have Alex Claxton with his first. It does move one of the shot reds back, but the shooter's lost. I think I lost the scoreboard. Well, that's bizarre. Let's see if I can bring it back. I think they're yelling T. It's going to be tight to the guard. Actually, they're trying to coach it over. This is looking pretty good for Neil Hunter-Smith. And it is buried under those guards. A good shot there from Hunter-Smith. So this is Claxton's second stone. And Claxton's looking to draw here, it appears. Claxton, I haven't got scores on all his shots, but he's, in terms of shot selection, he's thrown mostly draws. Oh, wow, that's pretty good there. Just a little heavy, but it does clear the shot stone and settles in the back 8 foot. I think it's hard to have got that any better. It's good for second shot. And it looks to be about 20 to 40% open, so they could do a heavy draw. They're calling their timeout as the players make their way down the ice. And Justin McBride makes his way onto the ice. Let's see if we can listen in on what's going on. Alright, the answer is no. I keep trying. Maybe one day. Yeah, the dream is always to try to have the players' mics. And we're not there yet. So this is the situation in the rings. So they have an opportunity here. I think they drew around the center guard. So I don't think the tap back is necessarily there, although that might be with a shot they called. So listening to the warm room, they are going to try and draw on top of the red, tap the red back and sit 2, which seems to be a solid shot as Hunter Smith is delivering his stone, looking for a draw tap back. Weight is looking okay. They're really trying to carry the stone. Okay, the weight's looking really solid. Oh, beautiful there. Although it does set up a possible double. So the other option probably was to draw around that and trying to push the yellow back. But in this case, it's not too bad because Lazarowich could try to take on the double, and that would actually open up the yellow in the back. So not a bad outcome either way. And the situation right now, Blacksher sitting 2, so good outcome there. Actually, I think that shot was as called. So as Lazarowich gets set, he's thrown about 80% draws. Actually, 90% draws. He's only thrown 1 takeout. And let's see if he's got this takeout here. It's looking pretty close. He's going to get 1. He's going to get them both moving and stick the shooter. So a great double takeout. Let's check the replay. Actually, 90% draws. He's only thrown 1 takeout. And let's see if he's got this takeout here. It's looking pretty close. He's going to get 1. He's going to get them both moving and stick the shooter. So a great double takeout. Let's check the replay. So that double takeout was brought to you by doubletakeout.com. That was a good shot there from Richard. Let's see if Adam Blacksher can respond. Looking to see some takeout action of his own. It's looking pretty good. Wonder if his double's there. He's got one, he's got two. That's a back-to-back double takeout. And Blacksher is sitting 3. See some takeout action of his own. It's looking pretty good. Wonder if his double's there. He's got one, he's got two. That's a back-to-back double takeout. And that double takeout was brought to you by doubletakeout.com. So now that timeout was well timed, I would say. So just like that, the end is the pendulum of this end. The momentum swung back and forth, and now the pendulum is solidly on the side of Team Blacksher as we're sitting 3, with Lazarowich only having 1 stone to go. As it looks like Lazarowich is going to try and draw around the guards. Based on the weight, I think he's going to try and hit and stick. So he's going to hit, and he's going to roll wide to the right. It does outcount the red on the right side. So Blacksher's going to try and pop out the yellow and score 2 or 3. So not a bad outcome for Lazarowich. But they're also not shot. So they're talking about the risk reward. I mean, the risk is to maybe just glance the yellow and push the yellow to scoring position, but that's not super likely. As Adam Blacksher's last rock is away. Looks a little inside, but I think it's going to be pretty good. Also don't want to run the jam in the back, and it does jam, but it's still good for 2. So that was a positive outcome for Team Blacksher. To take a 9-6 lead over Team Lazarowich. So round and round we go. We got 2 more ends to go. We're going to take a pause in the action. We'll be right back to the 2025 MoPac Championships presented by curling.gg. As Marty gets set to start the 7th end. Let's go around the rings. Looks like one game is off the ice. And that is going to be the men's pool 2 game on sheet B. Team Palmore of Oval Curling defeated Team Stephanie by a score of 7-2. And then on sheet D, the contest between Team Malloret of Oval Curling taking on Team Skidmore of Wine Country. Skidmore converted the hammer with 2 in the 5th end to take a 5-2 lead over Team Malloret. So Blomgren threw into the rings, and Lazarowich is asking Stephen Bruce to put up a guard. And so going into the rings is a sound strategy when you're holding a fairly sizable lead, because you're trying to draw the play into the rings and be able to start doing takeouts. So the corner guard is made. And so now Blacksher's going to ask Blomgren to basically kind of do the same shot but put up a front stone. Front stone or a guard. Definitely appreciate everyone tuning in this morning. We have a quadruple header of games on tap, including our 12:30 feature game, all-time specific, featuring Team Gilbert of Oval Curling taking on Team Padilla of Wine Country. The action starts at 12:30, and followed by our 4:30 p.m. game and our 8 p.m. game, some MoPac After Dark to conclude our pool play here at Coyotes Curling. Definitely hope that people will join us on the MoPac YouTube channel, and I'll be here for all the games. So now with the corner guard in place, Steven's going to be asked to draw around his corner guard. As Blomgren's front stone was successful. And this rock looks like it's going to crash on the guard. It's going to make things a little tricky, but those guards can be brought into play later in the end. But the easy draw path isn't there, so Lazarowich is going to kind of force an opening. As Hal Brown's being asked to draw into the pile, draw into the rings around the guard. This is coming up light. It's going to hog, unfortunately. So now Lazarowich has a couple options. He's opting to draw now. I would think, yeah, it's hard to say. I was saying you could probably clear the center guard and then be able to use your corner guards. But if you do that, then your chances of scoring more than a couple of points is pretty tricky. So I think Lazarowich is trying to set up a place to sit one solidly and then find places to put 2 or 3 additional rocks. And this rock's just a smidge heavy. It's going to crash on the shot stone and roll wide. As Hal throws his next stone. Coverage of this end is being brought to you by curling.gg. Curling.gg is the only platform where you can take your shots, execute it with accurate physics, undo and try again until it's perfect. Curling.gg. And Hal's hit is a success. So now Lazarowich is going to start clearing the guard. Maybe get a little lucky here in the rings. He gets 1, he gets 2, that's a double takeout. Brought to you by doubletakeout.com. So now Lazarowich is going to start clearing the guard. Maybe get a little lucky here in the rings. He gets 1, he gets 2, that's a double takeout. Brought to you by doubletakeout.com. Alright, back to live action here where we see Neil's shot trying to peel the guard, and that shot is also made. So it's really opening up the house. And so now Lazarowich still has his corner guards to use, but the only protection is on that right side. So this is tending to favor Blacksher, although Lazarowich still has opportunities as Alex Claxton makes his first shot. looking to draw around. It looked a little heavy on release. Let's see where she ends up. And let me show you where it ends up. So it's coasting a little bit, but I think it's going to stop. It does stop in the back button, so a good draw. The weight was pretty ideal. It just did not curl the way that Claxton was hoping. And so we see what Neil Hunter-Smith's follow-up is going to be. Looking to see some takeout action. I think they're hoping for maybe a little roll, but it's just the nose hits. But the takeout is accomplished, and now Lazarowich can do a hit and roll to try to get under cover. So the possibility of Lazarowich scoring 2 is still available, but it's getting trickier as we're running out of rocks in this 7th end. Claxton looking to hit and roll. They're now sweeping to hold the line. It's going to be close. We're going to see a hit. Now is there going to be a roll? There is a roll, but it's going to roll too far through the rings. Still in play on the back of the sheet. So it's not out of play, but it's also not scoring. I know that's a point of confusion for some people new to the game, because you see the rod. It's, oh, it's still in play. Is it scoring? It's like, nope. In order to score, or in order to potentially score, you have to touch the rings. So with the house wide open, Blacksher is going to try to peel some of these guards. He's trying to get one of the guards, and the shooter's also going to go across the sheet and out of play. So that was a good peel there. we call it a peel, and so if you cross the face, is it a face peel or a facial peel? I kid myself sometimes. So one guard remains. There remains one opportunity for Lazarowich to hide a stone to potentially score 2. Definitely appreciate everyone tuning in this morning. Once again, our next draw is going to be at 12:30 Pacific Mountain Standard Time. A contest between Team Gilbert of Oval taking on Team Padilla of Wine Country. The fun starts at 12:30. Again, all times Pacific/Mountain Standard Time. And I emphasize that because I came from Utah, where we observe Mountain Daylight Time, which is an hour ahead of Pacific and Mountain Standard. So this draw from Richard is does not come back. It's not really curling inside out from this path. So it gives Adam Blacksher an open hit with his last rock without the hammer. Trying to coach it over, needs to get a piece. It gets a piece. Is it going to be enough? And the answer is no. So a chance to have an open sheet to really minimize the scoring opportunity for Richard Lazarowich falls short. And now Lazarowich has a chance for 2. And again, draw within 1 of the lead. So Lazarowich had a really good draw He's had some pretty good draw after being light, like once, honestly. This is his last rock, a chance for 2. The hammer coming in end 7. Release looks pretty smooth. Let's see where it ends up. It just needs to touch paints, honestly. So sweepers are on it, I think, partially for weight more than anything. And it looks like it's going to be there. Just needs to touch the rings for that second point. And she is there. Good for 2. Shot from Richard Lazarowich as he slides his way down the ice. One more pause in the action, and we're going to have the final stanza coming up next as we come back to the 2025 doubletakeout.com MoPac Championships. All right, as we're getting set for the last end, we're going to do one last trip around the rings during regulation. Just to again note, the first men's game wrapped up a little early as Ken Pomeroy of Oval defeated Steve Stephanie of Wine Country 7-2. That game was called after the 6th end. She sees her feature game back and forth with Blacksher leading the way and Lazarowich chasing. But Lazarowich hasn't given up, which is awesome. It's a 1-point game, 9-8 in favor of Blacksher. Looks like this first stone from Stephen Bruce is going to slip into the rings. And that's not a great shot for Lazarowich. I'll explain why in just a moment. The game on sheet D is tightened up after Team Mallard of Oval scored 2 with the hammer in the 6th end. It's currently a 5-4 game in favor of the other guys, Team Skidmore of Wine Country. 5-4, Skidmore over Mallard right now with 2 ends to go. And sorry, I didn't switch the camera angle, so Blomgren was asked to throw some heat to, oh no, the hit was made. So good shot from Blomgren. Exchanging the hit, and so now Bruce is going to try to put up a guard, I believe, or draw around the red. So I was going to say why it wasn't great for Lazarowich to go into the rings, because Blacksher has to hammer this end, so they basically just need an open house to score 1, or prevent Lazarowich from sitting shot or scoring multiple points. So the options are, kind of favoring Blacksher in this end, and a hitting game doesn't necessarily favor Lazarowich because he needs to steal this end to have a chance to tie or win. So that guard from Stephen Bruce was much more successful that time. Very tight, also on the center line. So after throwing a takeout, Marty's being asked to tap back. And this is looking pretty good for a tap back. Let's see where it ends up. It does make contact. It taps the red shot stone back to the 4-foot open, and then the shooter sticks around to be second stone. So a good shot there from Mr. Blomgren. So Lazarowich is looking for like a heavy draw, hit and roll with Colin Neff's first stone. So they're trying to coax it over. It's wide right now, and the issue is if it's going to come back. And it looks like it's going to be close to coming back. Okay, that's not too shabby there from Neff. As it settles in the top 8 foot for second shot. And so Hal Brown's going to be asked by Blacksher to hit and roll, or just hit the yellow out. Looking for some hit action from Hal Brown. Blondin sweeping to hold the line. It's going to be close. They want to make sure they hit on the inside, and they do. And they're going to lose the shooter to the back 8 foot, biting the 12 foot. So they didn't actually lose the shooter. And that was a good hit and roll there from Mr. Brown. And very quickly, Colin Neff is away with his second shot. And this is a very similar shot. They wanted to try and draw on top again, and this one is hanging out a lot more than Neff's first stone. This is going to settle in the back 12 foot for third shot. So not an awful outcome, but they need to steal here. That doesn't necessarily help them. And so it looks like Brown is being asked to just kind of close the door, put up a front stone in front of the shot stone, which I don't think is a bad option. Protect the shot stone, protect the draw to the button. This is going to be a front stone guard. And it does come back, and it is a good shot, good guard from Hal Brown. Great shot there from Neil Hunter-Smith. Some really great shots from both thirds. The volume in the warm room has gotten pretty loud as 2 of the games are now done. That was a great shot there from Neil Hunter-Smith to clear out the front. So we are to skip stones as Lazarowich makes his way to the hat for his first 2 skip stones without the hammer. And I may have been on mute when I said it, but the other game that was on the ice just wrapped up with Team Skidmore scoring 5 in the 7th end to take the game out of reach over Team Malloret. So Skidmore over Malloret on sheet D. And there could be some chaos happening in the Pool 1. This is a Pool 2 game in the men's field. And so Lazarowich, I think, just wants to draw on top of the pile. This is over curling a bit. And the question is where it's going to end up. And it's going to end up pretty well placed, honestly. So teams are still doing okay on time. Lazarowich has just under 2 minutes to make his final shot, so he shouldn't run out of time. So Lazarowich, was looking to steal, and they're looking pretty good right now. So definitely Lazarowich won, and then there's a question on who's the second shot. It looks a little yellow to me. And it looks like Blacksher's trying to hit the yellow out of the way with a control weight takeout, I believe. You want to make sure it doesn't over curl. It's looking okay. So it's going to move the yellow. So it opens up the button, and the red shooter sticks around to B shots. So Lazarowich can basically draw and kind of muscle the red out of the way and sit 3 and cover the button. Lazarowich called their timeout. So Justin McBride is going to go out and talk to the other team as they rush by to talk about their options. I think the option really is to try and draw to the button, and a little tap action on the red is okay. They don't want it to over curl. But if people in the chat have an idea what the shot should be, definitely welcome their insight. This turned out to be a bit of a tracker, as they say. So the only issue is that the draws they've been taking have been from the other turn. This is going to be a clockwise in turn if you're a right-handed curler. But I really think that's got to be the shot. Now, if they miss, though, it's game over. So they definitely want to be shot. They don't want to throw heat at this because if they throw heat, the chances of them like pushing the yellows out of scoring position is pretty high. So they're choosing to draw the side that they know, as opposed to so that's going to be the clockwise, sorry, the counterclockwise out turn, counterclockwise. And so, and they do have some backing with the yellow. That sort of makes sense. And then, you know, if they hit the red, if it's too wide, it's maybe not the end of the world. So this is a clutch moment for Richard Lazarowich. Needs to sit shot to stay alive here in this 8th and final end of regulation. So the draw's away. Keep it, like Lazarowich just has his eye on the shot. He's not happy or unhappy with it apparently. Looks like it's going to hit the inside of the red slightly. Pushes it to be, looks like red shot, and as they're shaking hands, that's going to be a force of 1, and it's enough for a 10-7 victory for Team Blacksher. So make the final 10-7. The Blacksher rink takes a second win in Pool 2. They are now currently 2-1. Oh no, they're one. This is their third game, so they're 2-1. In Pool 2, Pomeroy is undefeated right now, 3-0. So they are they've secured a playoff berth. And we have some chaos in Pool 1 where Skidmore is up 2-1. Collins, Gilbert, and Padilla are 1-1, and Mallory is 1-2. So Mallory's not out yet, but they need some luck from these other games happening today. And then in the women's pool, we have Team Connolly 2-0, Feldman's 1-1, and Ewers is 0-2. And we'll see them later tonight in our MoPac After Dark. So a pretty exciting finale. Before we say so long, just another thank you to our sponsors, including doubletakeout.com, offering updated information and analytics about the top men's and women's teams from around the world, doubletakeout.com, and by curling.gg. Test your stip skills against your friends online at curling.gg, a free online curling platform with real physics simulation, and by Endgame Curling. Unlock the next level with Endgame's leading-edge curling brooms and accessories, endgamecurling.com. So we are going to be back on the ice in just over an hour. 12:30 Pacific Mountain Standard Time is our next draw, where we will feature Team Gilbert of Oval Curling taking on Team Padilla from one country. Again, that time is 12:30 on the MoPac YouTube channel. We hope you join us then. And until next time, this has been your host, Ryan Olson, on behalf of MoPac, Coyotes Curling Club, and with deep thanks to our sponsors, doubletakeout.com, curling.gg, and Ending Curling. Good morning, good curling, and see you at 12:30.